Hello, Rugby Hub viewers, and welcome back to a almost last episode for this year's Rugby Championship. Guri, it's lovely to see your face. I mean, it's a sad time.
Hi,
It's the
Gabby.
second last episode for the Rugby Championship. Obviously, we'll still have that team of the week, team of the tournament coming up. But
Yeah,
yeah, what do you have to say, Guri? What a last weekend of rugby it was.
indeed, man. The Rugby Championship is officially over. Congrats to the All Blacks lifting that trophy after a very shaky start for them to the
Yeah,
tournament. They managed to pull it through. I mean, they also had to endure a lot. I mean, this coach will get fired. These two in, those two out, and then
yeah.
losing to the Springboks in the start of the Rugby Championship. So they've had a tough time, and they deserve the silverware. They put
No,
themselves in a great position. I can already see you biting your tongue.
no,
Deserve? Really?
I mean, I just wanted to say, actually, like we talked earlier, like it's so funny, Ian Foster was really getting a lot of stick in the beginning of this tournament
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
after that Box lost the first game in Bombela. The pundits from the Kiwi side, all these guys said, surely he
yeah. They
has
were
to go. He
ruthless.
he has to go. He has to go.
Yeah,
He out with Foster, and now he just won the championship. So it's really interesting times.
yeah.
But
Well, they've
on
got
that
no
note,
mercy
I mean,
there. They got no
yeah,
mercy in New
of
Zealand.
course. I
They
mean,
tear
of
them to
course,
shreds.
they
Yeah,
live, eat, breathe shit rugby. That's all they
rugby.
do. So
Yeah,
basically, that is what it is. But I mean, on that note, yeah, well done, All
yeah,
Blacks. Really, really happy for you guys. I think it was a really complete performance on Saturday.
yeah.
Let's get straight into their game. I mean, what went wrong for the Wallabies there?
Well, I thought it was a bit of a shaky start to the game, and the second half it really exploded. I think the first 20 minutes or so, it was still quite
It
of
was
a
still pretty
tight
tight. Yeah,
encounter. It was still a tight encounter. I think the All Blacks were just 3 points ahead. But I mean, the Aussies didn't do themselves any favor. They got two yellow cards within the first, what was it, 25 minutes or 30 minutes or so.
yeah.
And it just gave the All Blacks the opportunity to stretch their legs, get, like we said in the match preview, they need to get with that team two tries over the Wallabies, and then it'll just be the floodgates will open and it will be absolute carnage. And that's kind of how the game played out as well.
Yeah, no,
I think,
definitely. I mean, after the All Blacks had a chance, I think they scored. I think after halftime, I mean halftime, what was it, 17-0 or something? And after
yeah,
that, they
yeah,
really just
exactly.
started running away with the game. And
Mm.
the Wallabies had two consecutive tries. I mean, towards the end of the game.
Towards the end, yeah,
Yeah,
which Ian
so
Foster also mentioned in the post-match press conference that he was not too happy about. Obviously, they could not lift the trophy just yet. It had to come down to what the Springboks could
yeah,
do in Durban or couldn't do in Durban, obviously. But we'll touch on that a bit later. Gabs, there are a few players that I
yeah,
actually would quite like to highlight, and that's Geordie Barrett at 12. I thought
yeah.
Geordie played a good game at 12. It was his ideal game. He managed to put Rico Ioane, who was the big match or the big expectation
Station
player
player, yeah.
um, for this week for the All Blacks, and delivered. Man, that guy! I think for the
No,
first
he
try, he
played
got on the
a
outside.
really good game. What a player.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was good.
it
It's
looked
so
like he
good to
was
see
shot
him
in the head,
run.
though. I don't know if you saw that. He had like this little
Who,
blood.
Geordie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Geordie had a.
I think
It's
somebody
probably the
step
same
on him or
sniper
something.
that was aiming for De La Fuente and got a hold of Geordie.
Wouldn't be
Anyways, long
surprised.
story short, yeah, well done to the All Blacks.
Yeah.
Thoroughly deserved it.
One other
I
player
think,
to point out there is Dalton Paali'i. I think he had
holy
19
moly,
tackles. 19
tackled the
tackles.
house down. Yeah, without missing. No, he was really good, and he was good with ball in hand. Remember, we
Yeah.
said that those loosies, once the game breaks up a little bit, it would have been chaos.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So,
So,
and then obviously Rob Valentini for Australia continues to be an animal.
yeah.
I think they're expecting big things from him. So,
But
so
all in
yeah,
all,
great.
a complete performance from the
Yeah,
All Blacks. Well done. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah. On that note, let's switch over to the Springboks. Of course, we had to go and win the game with 39 points, which is a lot to ask against a very strong Argentinian team.
yeah,
Of course, I watched the build up to that game. Saw guys like Victor Matfield and I don't know, one of the Ngane brothers. They were all speaking very positively about the box. It was Heritage Day in South
yeah.
Africa, and
True.
there was hope. We thought we can do
Mm,
this, and
mm,
I also thought we could do it, and that's why I will be a little bit
mm.
cynical or critical, if you'd like to call it that.
Critical,
Yeah,
cynical, yeah,
yeah. I mean, let's see later on. I'll be a bit critical, but let's just maybe
yeah,
start off with talking about obviously that start of the game. I think it was
yeah.
17 or 18 minutes in only that we got our first points on the board,
Yes,
considering the
yeah.
fact that the Argentinians, I think, conceded something like 7 penalties in the first 11 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, they
That's
had
not
to
good
absorb
enough.
so much pressure, right? The Argentinians had to absorb a lot of pressure, and a continuous theme throughout the Rugby Championship for the Springboks, and we've spoken about this before, is turning opportunities and pressure into points. And once again in this game, it proved to be the case. Obviously, Fronstein uh, had a shaky start for
Yeah,
sure in that 10 jersey. He was a bit caught out of position a few times in attack when Damien Darlenda throws the ball in the pocket towards the back if
yeah,
they want to spread it wide. So I think it was twice there. And then obviously some missed kicks to touch, which also relieved sort of some of the
yeah,
pressure towards the Argentinians. So those are definitely things that didn't help. However, there were a lot of positives. Firstly, I thought the crowd in Durban, in terms of just the atmosphere and like you mentioned, it's
the
Heritage Day.
crowd.
So, the crowd was all over the place. Remember, I think in that one photo there was it a
No, I know. I'm
jacuzzi or
just
a
laughing
swimming
because
pool? And
it's just funny to say when you say there was a lot of positives and you start with the crowd. That's it's just a funny.
no, but I'm getting there, man. And then I want to get to the first try of the game, which was after a dominant scrum from the Springboks. Once again, the crowd was behind them on that one. You
Yeah.
could hear the roar as soon as that scrum started pushing over. And yeah, at the end, Jasper Wiese, as the scrum went over the line, he just dotted it down for his first
And
try.
a very,
And
well-deserving try. What a player he is. I mean, Jasper Wiese just
yeah,
continues to impress. I think really that Dwayne might find himself on the bench for quite a bit longer.
yeah, well, I mean, Jasper Wiese made 9 carries, 63 meters, 5 defenders beaten, and 7 tackles. I mean, that is a man of the match performance, if any. All right.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
definitely,
like you mentioned,
definitely.
like you said, Dwayne Vermeulen came on for him and actually did a good job off the bench. He made his tackles, 4 carries, 45 meters. One of those carries was a trademark Dwayne
Dwayne
Vermeulen
Vermeulen,
missile,
literally. That first take,
catching
I
the
think he
ball out of
catch.
there,
Yeah.
plucking it down, and then you just see him he's scanning, he's looking where his target is, and then he runs at that Argentinian defense with absolute full speed, all of that 120 whatever kgs
Yeah.
of him full
No,
speed into
definitely.
the
But
opposition. So
Goody, I mean, yeah, I think, Jasper had an excellent game. Dwayne was
yeah,
great off the bench, and there was a lot of positives in the forward team as well. Well, in the forward pack as well.
mm,
However, one thing that I did not like, and this is probably not necessarily with the players, this is more about decision making and maybe from the coaching staff. And I've mentioned it to you
mm,
before. I'm not happy with the Bokke at this in this particular game being 17-7 up at halftime,
yeah,
considering the amount of penalties conceded by the Pumas, considering the amount of lineouts that we've had, considering the amount of opportunities that we've had. There's two
yeah,
things that really frustrated me. First of all, I don't even know what was the point of having a backline in that game. We never used it until the 80th minute, and then we scored a try. So in the
yeah,
beginning, there was no contingency plan, no plan B. They just went more, more, more. Yes, in total, we scored 2 penalty tries and that one try of Sia Kolisi could have been another one of Evan Etzebeth, but once again, the officiating wasn't really on the same page as I was. But yeah,
yeah,
so all in all, we should mix things up. We need to learn to mix things up. In domestic rugby, we
true,
see some champagne rugby. The Stormers scored some
yeah.
beautiful tries this weekend.
Yeah, they scored
Um,
an absolute stunner. True.
yeah,
Yeah, we should
and
build some of that franchise rugby into our sort of
international
international
rugby.
squad.
Yeah.
So no, I 100% sorry. I didn't want to cut you off, but yeah,
Mm.
I do agree with you. I mean, the backline
No.
didn't see much of the ball, and partly because Fronstein was caught out of position on attack a few times, and obviously we can't be too critical to Fronstein. I mean, he's
Yeah,
backup fly
of
off, right?
course, of
And
course.
we back him because he's got heaps of experience. I
Yeah,
thought
but I mean, I would have liked to
considering
see,
all the
for
mistakes,
example, another player that I actually feel sorry for because I think up until this game he was actually pretty good was Willie Leroux. I would have liked to see him maybe
true,
come in one or two times on first
yeah,
receiver and mix things
true,
up a
yeah,
bit, which we
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
see. And obviously, it was pretty clear we were going to play with the forwards and we're going to go for the line-out maul. We even talked about it before. I think if I could predict it, I'm pretty sure Michael Cheika knows that. So the thing is, they prepared really well for this, and we struggled to score. But where was the plan B? Where was the flair then? I would have liked also then the penalty, 37th minute or something. Siya Kolisi points to the post. Frans then slots a monster kick, beautiful kick.
Yeah.
But why? I don't get that. We go for touch the whole time. We never took the 3 points at offer. Now, all of a sudden, there's still 3 minutes on the clock. Of course, it's going to come back to our half. If we kick that for touch, maybe it was 21-0 halftime. That's a complete different game. And then maybe also mix things up. Say, guys, listen, we're not getting through with the lineouts. Let's try something else. I mean, yes, we had then 2 penalty tries in that second half of the lineout maul, but in total it was 22 lineouts. I mean, 3 tries out of that is not enough. Mix it up. Anyways,
no,
sorry,
it's
I'm
true.
just very disappointed.
So a bit of variation in attack is definitely what is required. I agree with you. However, if you look at sort of the progress, I think that the Springbok attack has made from last season, last year, much less kicking off the base of a ruck, a lot less sort of midfield bombs, and it's quite it's encouraging, and I think we have the players to do that. But regardless, nevertheless, I think in that game as well, and I think it was just before halftime, the Argentinians scored, which is an absolute coach killer. If you're a Springbok fan, and then they scored early in the second half as well to bring them right back into that game where Juan Martin Gonzalez, who we are big fans of in this podcast, stepped Billy LaRue to put him actually on his ass, which, as you mentioned, literally, and then strolled in for a try, which he also thoroughly deserved. I mean, he had a fantastic game. Also 5 runs, 33 meters. Marcos Crema, I thought, for the Argentinians were also very good. I mean, he did get a yellow card, but I did think that was kind of a team yellow card because
that was more like the penalty count just mounting up. But
and I think it was maybe for one of those penalty tries. But he also made 14 tackles, and it was really, really good.
No, we talked about how dangerous their Lustria will be, and you know how dangerous they still are. So I mean, all in all, the Argentinians once again also proved, never write them off. As soon as that second half started, they started doing what we should have been doing. They ran the ball, made it fast, and before you know it,
got into that game very nicely. Yeah, it's true. But nevertheless, before we wrap up this bad boy, you got to be more positive. We won the game. Unfortunately,
I know we won the
Rugby
game, and I just really wanted us to win the championship. You know me.
I understand, but
it's the first time in my life that
I'm
not happy with the Bokke winning. Like, it's the first time in my whole life.
Yeah, no, we want the silverware. It's true, but we shouldn't have dropped that game at Ellis Park against the All Blacks by experimenting with these players and stuff. I think Jog Nienaber is also only getting into his coaching sort of flow. So regardless, before we wrap it up, Gabsy, I think there is still a talking point which I'm very surprised you haven't brought it up yet, because this is sort of your bread and butter.
Gordon, I've just been so obsessed with this one talking point about the Boks not having more than a plan A, but I know we need to talk about the referees. I know,
but
because
the referees in general for this rugby championship, Gabsy, not only for the Springboks. I know we are the old moaners when it comes to, and we love to complain about a referee, and it is quite fun. But yeah, Gabsy,
once again,
controversial calls.
I just don't get it. The person that is kind of selecting the match officials for the rugby championship is a Kiwi. If you would go dive into the statistics and look at the type of match officials that we received as the Springboks, we got a shocker of match officials when you compare it to, I'm talking about nationalities, and don't tell me nationalities have nothing to do with this, because we all deep inside are proud of where we come from, especially if you follow the game of rugby. And I just didn't like that we had so many New Zealand and Australian refs for very important games where you don't look like you're really agreeing to me here, but the All Blacks, for example, had a bunch of Northern Hemisphere refs.
No, they had French referees, and we don't want the French refs, do we?
I would take a French ref above this shit that we had.
How dare you say that?
I would. I swear I would. I mean, I'm sorry, but I couldn't deal with this. Once again, that yellow card for Eben Etzebeth. And I'm not just complaining about the Springboks refs.
No,
In general,
yes,
the
agreed.
standards was terrible. I don't even know why you have a TMO. The TMO doesn't never open their mouth. They're just sitting up there,
Yeah.
I don't know, eating their McDonald's
But
burger.
we'll see on the end of year tour with the internationals what happens there. So the Springboks, the All Blacks, and the Wallabies and the Argentinians, they're all going to take a break now. Definitely go back to the drawing board, see where they can fix up when they face the Northern Hemisphere teams. We're definitely coming back with a Rugby Championship wrap up for you guys, and also a team of the championship,
team of the
where we
championship, of
are
course.
going to allow you guys to also choose on our Instagram handle, which is at Rugby HubSpot. Go check and go follow us, and you guys can let us know who would you pick in those positions. And also, please go and comments, leave a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, please
we'll keep bringing you guys.
Don't comment. You South Africans always just complain about the ref because the refs were cock.
Which is true.
Yes.
I've got to be honest, I like those comments. I press like. Anyway.
Thank you so much for your continuous support. Let's keep going, and we will still give you guys some other content throughout the next weeks. So yeah, please come back for more. Thanks, Gweri, and we'll see each other later this week with the team of the tournament. Cheers.